And the third aspect is the contract labor, right? Because when we say contract labor, again, there is no direct relationship between the principal employer and the contract worker, but there will be a party in between called the contractor. So again, we may have to refer the Contract Labor Regulation Abolition Act, which was enacted in 1970. Maybe a section 2(1)(b) of that section that defines the term contract labor. If you go through that, so that person must be a workman in the first place. So who can become a contract worker? Who can become a contract labor? Right. So for a person to become a contract labor, he must be a workman in the first place. Right. So automatically we can come to a conclusion that a manager cannot become a contract worker, even though he is engaged through a contractor. Let me repeat, if a person is a manager, even though he is engaged through a contractor, he will not be considered as a contract worker, because a person to become a contract labor, he must be a workman in the first place. So again, the question comes, who is a workman? The term workman is defined under the Contract Labor Act itself, right? Almost it is similar to what we discussed under ID Act, except for the supervisors. Under the ID Act, it says the supervisors drawing more than 10,000, they are excluded. But as far as Contract Labor Act is concerned, even today in the statute books, it is mentioned as rupees 500 per month. If a supervisor, if he is drawing more than 500 per month, then he's not a workman, right? Supervisor, he is a supervisor. So supervisor, so for them there is a salary cap, but otherwise if a person is doing a managerial job or administrative job, they are clearly excluded. They are not considered as workmen. So whether the supervisor drawing more than 500 rupees per month as salary, or whether if a person does a managerial job, or if a person does administrative work, or even an out worker, these people are all clearly excluded from the definition of the term workman under the Contract Labor Act. So if they are not workmen, then they, even though engaged through a contractor, they cannot become a contract worker. There will be relationship of employer-employee between the contractor and these persons. That will remain, right? But there will not be any liability to the principal employer in respect of these people, because these people cannot become a contract worker. Again, so that person must be a workman in the first place. Then that person must have been hired in or in connection with the work of the establishment, right? Very clearly, again, as I said, the third point and fourth point, the managers, the people doing administrative work, and supervisors drawing 500 rupees or more, and the out workers, they are clearly excluded under the definition of the term workman. So even though if they are engaged through a contractor, they cannot become the contract worker. I have brought one interesting case law decided by the Orissa High Court. The permanent employee of a contractor, permanent employee of, because many of the cases nowadays, the contractors themselves are legal entities. They are company or they are partnership firms. So they are all legal entities. They have their own businesses, right? So the permanent employee of a contractor who during his employment can be placed at different establishment, which means same contractor, he serves multiple principal employees at the same time. So we are now witnessing that people are shifted from one principal employer to another principal employer at the discretion of the contractor, right? And even if the contract gets terminated, in fact, these people are, since they happen to be the permanent employees of the contractor, they will continue to be the employees of the contractor. They will not lose their job, right? So once the contract gets terminated, they will not lose their job. They will continue to be employees of the contractor, because they themselves are, he himself is a legal entity. So he may use that person for some other principal employer. So since they are all permanent employees, since they are all posted to various principal employees placed at the discretion of the contractor, since they will not lose their service, even though if the contract gets terminated, these people are not considered to be contract labor. It's a very interesting judgment. It was given as early in 1992. Many of the, some of the, definitely the authorities would be aware, but this is not being clearly implemented, right? So I would suggest, please, I think you can note down the citation which is given there. So please go through this judgment. It's very interesting judgment, and it is merely, very clearly, it is interpreting the definition given under section 121(b), right? I think nothing extra, right? It is very interesting. Go through that. So I think this is what is coming up in the proposed new labor code, right? in the definition you would have seen for the contract labor, if the contract workers happen to be the permanent workers of the contractor, then they will not be considered as the contract workers. So it is coming in the definition itself. Now also the illegal question is the same, right? But this comes through the judgment, right? But for some reason or other, this is not being properly implemented. So maybe once the code is through, then since that will appear in the definition part itself, definitely that will come into maybe implementation by both the employers as well as the authorities concerned.